Okay, we're back. Oh, actually, I need to check something real quick. Sorry about that. Back now. Just want to put the whole thing there. Boop. 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 All right, we're down to the last send-in Funko Pop. So, this is it. Unless it's a print. I don't see any print orders right now. I will do a last check. But I don't see any print orders right now. So we've got a last Funko Pop from Andrew. Andrew says, to Mr. Freeman. This is Andrew's Anbu Itachi Funko that we've got here. He says, hello, Mr. Freeman. I hope you are having a good day. I love your work as Itachi in Naruto. Such an amazing character brought to life by you. If you could please put the quote, knowledge and awareness are vague and perhaps better called illusions in red with your autograph in white on the front. And if it's not too much, Itachi's headband symbol in red on the side. That would be amazing. Thank you very much. Disregard special instructions from Streamily. Did it in a rush. No problem. Yeah, so we'll do the I assume the headband, you mean the Konoha.
Konoha leaf.
The Konoha, the strike-through Konoha leaf. So I can totally do that on the side. So we'll start with the quote, which you would like in red. So I don't know if Andrew is here in the chat. Maybe, maybe not. But Andrew is bringing us home. So make sure this is working. Yep, cool. All right, the quote, knowledge and awareness are vague. Are vague. And perhaps better called illusions. Great.
That's a nice size quote.
That's a very nice size quote. That works very well. Doesn't occlude the character too much, especially because it's got lots of stickers on it. So I guess it's a chase version, so it's got lots of stickers.
Stickers.
There we go. Yeah, red quote with a white signature is definitely my favorite Itachi combination. And then the side,
red
like
Konoha?
the red Konoha leaf. So let me just make sure I've got that prepped here.
They did want it in red, right?
It does say, yes, Itachi's headband symbol in red on the side. Awesome. Just want to make sure that there wasn't, don't know if, I don't see an Andrew in the chat, but there you go. All right.
So you're going to roll with this?
So we're going to roll with that. The Konoha leaf. There we go.
Looks great.
Looks good. Looks good.
Very classy and simple.
Yep. All right, Andrew. There you go. Knowledge and awareness are vague, and perhaps better called illusions. There you have it. And there's the Konoha symbol on the side there. There you go, Andrew. 847. Make sure I got this right. Okay, 847.
Here's the order number.
And the order number P1788 4472. Yep, that's the one. Cool.
You are one?
Complete. You are the one. All right.
All right.
Let me check to see if
Last
there's any
minute
last
check for
minute
prints?
print orders. I do not see any.
Okay.
So, no print orders. So, that concludes our live signing of everything for this round. I realize there are some that had VIP orders and maybe other orders that we did not sign this weekend. I'm very sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened.
They are missing.
We did not receive them. So either they are still at Streamily being processed, or maybe Streamily hasn't received them yet. I'm not sure. I'm not privy to that sort of communication. I'm going to be checking in with Streamily early this week, probably on Tuesday, since that's when everybody gets back from the holiday. I'll be checking in to see what the status is on things. I encourage all of you who have stuff that didn't get signed that you were expecting to also contact Streamily and find out what's going on, because we want to make sure that stuff is not missing. It's very important to us to make sure that everyone gets their items exactly the way they want them. We know they mean a lot to people, and so we work hard to make sure that everything is done just the way you request. But we can only work with what we are given. We can only work on the items that are dropped off to us, and these were all dropped off last Friday. So, 2 days ago now?
Yeah.
They were dropped off. So I'm not sure why we don't have those other items.
But we will try to make it right.
We will try to make it right. You follow up with Streamily. I will follow up with Streamily. We'll try to figure out what's going on. In the meantime, if there are any other last-minute questions, I'm happy to answer them. There were some I think I saw earlier in the chat. What role did I hate doing? I don't think that's a thing for me. I like voice acting, so there's no role that I hate doing, because I guess if I really hated it, I wouldn't do it.
You would probably not do it.
I'd probably not do it, you know? But I'm usually pretty happy to play characters in stories. You know, obviously there's some stories that I'm more interested in than others, because just like there's some food you might like more than others. But I don't eat food I don't like that's distasteful, that's bad, you know? And so I usually get to work on pretty good projects. Would I want Hideki and Chi to double date with Ariel and Eric, Beast and Light? Wow, that doesn't sound like a date. That sounds like a rave with all those people. I mean, it'd be a hell of a rave, but that's a lot of people hanging out together.
Random thoughts.
Yeah, bro, what dubbing you have done with your characters? What e-dubbing you have done? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. So
What's e-dubbing?
I don't know. I'm not hip to the leet speak, I guess. I haven't read Prince lyrics in too long for me to be able to decode that, unfortunately. Any chance for you to be Shadow in the live-action Sonic movies? I don't know. They'd have to cast me first. I don't remember auditioning for Shadow in the live-action Sonic movies, but I would love to. But you know, we all have to audition for these things, and then they have to hire me. What's my favorite Itachi quote or line? Probably the very first one. You don't have enough hate, and you know what? You never will. That's I like that first time when I pinned Sasuke up to the wall. It's a pretty good line. That's where it really sort of sank into Itachi's character for me. I mean, which Disney couple listed you? I do not know who Hideki and Chi would want to double date with, but I think they'd probably rather go to the rave. I think they just have the rave with all of them at the same time. Favorite Winston quote? Imagination is the essence of discovery. So that would probably be my favorite Winston quote. Although I was honored in the game to be able to quote from Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot. There's a little Easter egg in Overwatch if you go to the lunar colony, and there's a big telescope. And I believe if you're Winston, you walk up to the telescope, Winston starts reciting the quote from Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot. And so that was cool. I was really happy to be able to do that because Carl Sagan was a cool guy. I liked him, and I loved his Cosmos series. It was so good. Favorite projects? Well, Overwatch, playing Winston is a big one. Also, Wolf's Rain. Loved working on Wolf's Rain. Such a lovely project. And I had a lot of fun working on Howl's Moving Castle. Favorite Holland Novak quote. He just did a cutback drop turn. Like I felt like I had to say cutback drop turn so many times. So there you go. What dubbing you have done to characters you live those characters? I'm so sorry. I still don't quite understand what a dubbing you have done to characters you live those characters. Well, if you're complimenting me and saying that you like my dubbing, then I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. But unfortunately, I still don't quite understand the question you're asking. Quintuple date. Yeah, right? Quintuple date. Again, it's a rave. Just play the music, man. Lots of glow sticks and shiny stuff and whistles and I don't know. Let's rave it up. I was great as Firefly in Batman Arkham Origins. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was fun playing Firefly. A little tough on the voice. A little rough on the voice, that Firefly voice. But it was fun playing Firefly in the Arkham games. In the battle of sibling rivalries, who would win? I noticed that you really like those sort of crossovers, and I've just got to admit, I'm not much of a crossover guy. I like it when a world is consistent in and of itself, and crossovers, I don't always know what that means. I realize that people like crossovers, and if you have fun with crossovers, that's great. But I'm not really a crossover guy, so I don't really think in those terms. So if you ask me questions about crossover, you're going to get sort of a blank face from me because I'm just going to be like, I don't know. If you like it, that's great, but I'm not really a crossover person. Any suggestions on reading material? It depends on what you're interested in. I've always been a big fan of Joseph Campbell. So if you would like to check out his Hero with 1,000 Faces, which has been a staple of storytelling in Hollywood ever since Star Wars came out in 1977. George Lucas took so much inspiration from Joseph Campbell for his original Star Wars trilogy. And Campbell actually described George Lucas as one of his best students ever. So if you read Joseph Campbell's The Hero with 1,000 Faces, that will help explain most of the storytelling in Hollywood since Star Wars. So that's a pretty good reading in my opinion. I also like Tolkien. Gotta love me some Tolkien. Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. Silmarillion is a little more challenging to get through. One thing I would recommend, poor connection. Oh, maybe my poor connection is not so great. But maybe my internet is back. Okay, good. There was a guy called the Tolkien Professor who had a podcast, and he put he was a teacher at the University of Washington. I don't know if it still exists or he still does it, but he put his entire Tolkien class up as a podcast. So what I would do is I would listen to a couple of, and I would do this while driving around LA. I would listen to a couple chapters of the Silmarillion that were going to be in the class, and then I would listen in on his class. It was sort of like sitting in on his class on Tolkien. And what that did is it helped help me understand the Silmarillion in pieces, because the Silmarillion is a little complicated. But I do love me some Tolkien. And the Power of Myth interviews. If you don't want to read Here with 1,000 Faces, there is a wonderful 6-part documentary series by Bill Moyers where he interviews Joseph Campbell, and it's called The Power of Myth. It used to be on Netflix, but I don't think it is anymore. But the Power of Myth series, it was originally done on PBS, and it's a great, great series. So that's a cool one if you don't want to have to read a whole bunch of books on it. But could I say, Mugni, you don't have enough hate. So hopefully that works for you. Any personal favorite Pirates of the Caribbean movies? I do like the first Pirate of the Caribbean movies is probably still my favorite. It's so great. Sure, we'll go to about, I don't know, maybe 120-ish, and then we'll probably call it a day. Planning on attending cons in the future? Unfortunately, no. I can't go to cons right now. Long COVID is just too much of a danger for me.
Your voice is too important.
My voice is too valuable, too important, so I can't go to cons right now, which is why I'm trying to do as many Streamily events as possible, and which is also why I'm going to be checking with Streamily to make sure that these confusions don't happen again. Things have been going very smoothly for a while. We've been doing a bunch of Streamily signings, and things seem to be going relatively smoothly. Something happened this time. Maybe it was the holiday weekend. I don't know what was going on, but we'll try to get everything sorted out. How did you start out voice acting? I've been in a few stage plays, would love to voice act. Yes, check out my podcast, Voice Acting Mastery. It's at voiceactingmastery.com, and you can search for it in Apple Podcasts and whatnot.
It's free.
It's free podcast, voiceactingmastery.com. Been doing it for 12 years now. It's been about 12 years I've been doing the podcast, so I would suggest checking that out, as well as Dee Bradley Baker's website, iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. Dee's website is fantastic. Great. Any roles that would like to reprise, done more work with? I don't know. I loved working with Wolf's Rain, but I'm glad that the story ended the way it did. I'm not thinking of any characters that we didn't get to do enough of off the top of my head. So I'll have to think about that. And hopefully there will still be more Overwatch. Was there another character you would have loved to voice in Naruto? Not necessarily, I don't think. I was pretty happy with Itachi and Ebisu. Ebisu was fun to do early in the series, so Ebisu was good. The next send-ins will be on May 30th, which I believe is Tuesday. May 30th at 10 a.m. Pacific. That's when the next send-in items will go on sale, and then we'll be signing those items at the end of June.
Please do not send full-size items or flats.
Please do not send full-size items if you buy a flat item slot, because then you are limiting someone else who actually has a flat item from sending it in. So please make sure, if you're going to send in a full-size item, to buy a full-size item slot.
And it's a different price, so they may have to charge you more later.
Yeah, it's a different price, and they may have to charge you more later. So, no problem. Are you still comfortable traveling? No, unfortunately, I have to be very careful about long COVID, so not doing a whole lot of traveling. Will I ever publish a biography? I don't know. That's an interesting question. I don't know.
It'd be really interesting.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think so.
Maybe. Sorry for the long quote from Itachi last hour. It was the first pop you signed today. Oh, okay, well, that's all right. I was able to get it on there. It just meant that there wasn't as much room for signature and character, but hopefully you're satisfied with how it came out. All right. Well, it looks like the questions are sort of winding down, so unless there's any other burning questions, we may call it for today. Thank you so much for everyone for joining me, both yesterday and today, whoever did. And hopefully everyone is satisfied with their stuff. We always want to make sure we're getting stuff out to you the way you want. A big thank you to my wife, Isabel, for helping here off camera. She's been a huge help. I could not do any of this without her. She's managing all the Funko Pops and making sure everything is going well and helping correct my mistakes when I make them. Thank you so much. And then Sarthak says, can you say Madara Uchiha? Sure, Madara Uchiha, please. Just being silly at the end there. So hopefully that works for you. Many blessings to the both of us. Well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I hope everyone has a great rest of their holiday weekend. I know I'm going to be doing my best to try to relax tomorrow. I hope everyone does as well. Have fun. Enjoy the Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe. And we'll see you all on the next round. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.